Okay, our iris leaf has dried. So now we can add more color to this. So what we're going to do here is we're going to dampen the paper again a little bit. And with the permanent rose, you don't have to worry about it lifting. You can lift it usually when it's still moist, but once it dries, it's really down there. So now we're going to add a bit more color. And down in this area, we're going to add some violet. Now you don't have to worry about whether it's going to be too perfect yet or not, because you're going to be dry brushing over the top of this and getting more control out of it. But this is just so that you can get these nice transitions between the... It starts to have cauliflower on. You just go back into your pigment and add more pigment. It dried already on me. You can see with the permanent rose, you can scrub it out a little bit, even though it's dried. But if it's within minutes, you're all right. You know. Be disguised when you start to put in your dry brush. Again, make sure that you have enough color mixed in different concentrations, so you can just lay color in there as it's needed. Add a little bit more blue to that center section there. Oh, this is wet. You get this nice merge in here. Okay, time to let it dry again. Okay, so at this point, we've done quite a bit of wet work on this part of the petal. And so now it's time to get into the dry brush work and cleaning up some of the areas that need a little bit more detail. I've made a plate of skins using the colors that I used when I did the washes. And as you can see, some of them have kind of merged together so that we can use some of these colors that are in here in order to do the fine details. So I'm going to start maybe cleaning up this area up here, which seems to need some work. And we definitely need to test our color so that we're not putting down too much at any given time. And I want to blend this into the yellow a little bit more because it didn't quite do it. Remember, when you put a layer down, if you put it on top of something else, it's already going to get darker. So if you need to blend something, you got to make sure that the brush does not touch the area that already has paint on it. And always work with a shade that's lighter than what you actually need so that you can control the amount of application that goes on. Now you probably are going to have to work on different areas at different times so that you allow things to dry before you start to put more color in, because if you don't do that, you're just pushing things around. It's not going to work. Now these areas look quite dark right now, but I can assure you that once we put in further darks in other areas, they're going to appear much, much lighter. And because you have a variety of, a range of saturations on your skin, you can almost go in and pick the value that you need for a given area and get it to work for you. This whole section down along the bottom edge here is all very purple. So we want to try and replicate that. Okay, so you can see now that I've done quite a bit of work on getting this this flower petal to come up to where we want it to be. And most of this has been done with dry brush, but you can see by having done this blending underneath, it creates a nice sound structure for the details that you're going to put on the top, and it flows nicely together. So all we have to do now is the other side, if we so choose to, and we'll have a nice little petal. A little more red in this area here. And we can even darken up these veins a little bit more if you want them to be a bit more dramatic. Especially in the dark areas. Okay, that should give you some idea of how to work with the charging, where you combine it with flat washes and merging color and dry brush at the end.